I'm Kellyanne Cowles. Welcome to this channel, Stone the Crone. Today we're going to have a little bit of a chat about a YouTuber called Shapeshifter. Now if you haven't seen their channel, I would totally recommend you go check it out. Shapeshifter is a detransitioner, male to female. And what I want to talk about and discuss and touch on today is something that keeps coming up in their interviews, and they've just done a really excellent interview with Blair White. And not personally a fan of Blair White, but this interview really is fantastic, and I do give Blair a round of applause for featuring Shapeshifter on their platform. Shapeshifter deserves big platform. I reached out to Shapeshifter a little while back, and what I noticed in his talking about his detransition was he keeps bringing up his original blueprint. So Shapeshifter is gone through the whole surgery, so they no longer have their male genitalia, which is one thing that Shapeshifter keeps saying in their interviews. And I was going to put a little clip in here from the Benjamin Boyce interview, but I'm going to try to remember to link it in the description box in the video, because I really think it is important to go see that whole interview with Benjamin Boyce. Again, it doesn't matter my opinion on the people who are interviewing Shapeshifter. The important thing is that Shapeshifter is getting these really big platforms. So one thing that keeps coming out to me, and I keep noticing, is Shapeshifters always talking about their original blueprint, and that resonates. And I'm not a big fan of that word. Resonates with my truth, your truth. No, there is only truth and the perspective that you see it as. So they're talking about their blueprint and how they understood their blueprint when their blueprint came back online. So because they've had the full Monty, that's what I'll refer to the full surgery as. I'm going to refer to it as the full Monty. Because they've gone full Monty, they have to completely take a hormone for the rest of their life, being it either estrogen or testosterone. And they had decided to go back on testosterone, and because Shape is born a boy, tried to transcend their body, and that's their language, not mine. They say that they could not transcend masculine, so they could never be a woman, and they understand that now, and it is a little bit too late because they've had the surgery done. They talk about in the Benjamin Boyce interview about a spiritual journey that they've been on, and one of the dreams that they had during this time, he has during this time, and that they had sort of met feminine and masculine energy in this dream. And they definitely, he had said that it wasn't like the masculine energy was automatically a male and the feminine energy was automatically a woman and a female. It doesn't work like that. And what that sort of triggered my little brain was that it's very much like the Hermetic Principles, the 7 Hermetic Principles. And the first one being the principle of mentalism, or the principle of mind. All is mind, and the universe is mental. So therefore, everything is consciousness. So that's the first one. The second Hermetic order principle is a principle of correspondence, and you've heard this one before, is that as above, so below, as within, so without. The classic picture of Baphomet shows that the one hand up, one hand down, the as above, so below. I will go and do a Baphomet video coming up. Is another one that I've been sort of toying with. So that there will be a little bit, I will get to that, because I did come across a lot of this trans freak show in the chaos magic and the magic platforms on the internet, and I have had a video, I did do a video about that. It's one of my peak trans videos, so if you go back in my playlist, you'll see that video in there. So the third Hermetic order is the principle of vibration, and that is nothing rests, nothing is still, everything vibrates. So even when we're talking about the metaphysical level of, say, an atom, and how everything's made of atoms and then everything vibrates. So you used to hear the saying, you know, keep calm and whatever. I used to say, keep calm? Hell no, I'm vibrating atoms. So, yeah. Then you've got the fourth principle of the Hermetics, which is the principle of polarity. So everything is dual. Everything is dual. So you've got hot and cold. Yeah? But then it depends on what it is. If it's water, where hot is energy and cold is lack thereof energy. But it's still a polarity. You know? So heads and tails of a coin. One coin, duality. The positive and negative of a magnet. It's still a magnet, but you have the positive and you have the negative, and there's a 0 point there, you know, the same as a battery. You've got the positive of the battery and the negative of the battery, and you need the special terminals to get them to work, you know, like, so a battery is not going to work in your device if it's upside down. If you put the wrong terminals together, you're not going to get it to work. You know, 2 plus terminals together are not going to work. 2 minus terminals together, not going to work. So that's polarity. So within humans, I suppose we are human, and the binary or duality of the human is male and female. So as a physical entity of Earth, or born whatever, is physically male, physically female, gametes, chromosomes, all that nice stuff. Is number 5, and that is the principle of rhythm. Yeah, so like the rhythm of the sun rising and setting every day, the rhythm of the moon, and the rhythm of the tides, and that sort of thing, you know. So it's the rhythm of a pendulum and the way the pendulum swings. I suppose, so for an example, you got a pendulum, yeah, and the pendulum will swing to the left the same as it will swing to the right. There's a rhythm. We'll go from duality, polarizing in its motion, but still a rhythm. Yeah, so if everything vibrates and there's a rhythm to nature. You got the 6th Hermetic order is there is a principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. And that's part of the rhythm. Does that, like, there's a rhythm, there's a cause and effect. Then we get to the one Hermetic order that this cray comes under, yeah? And that is the principle of gender. Gender is everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. So I'm going to explain this the best way that I can explain this. Gender is not so much as, it's not an identity, yeah? It's not a feeling. It's an energy, but you can't say that the energy is the soul in that regards. Like, so in language especially, so you've got French and you've got Spanish, and they're gender-based languages. So something will have a vibe in the real world of masculine energy and feminine energy. Now, I sang a little ditty on here, and I'm certainly not a singer, I'm a dancer. So there's that. I always say, it's not over until the fat lady sings, and bitch, this lady's a dancer. That little thing I ditty it was, there's a little bit of yin and yang, and a little bit of yang and yin. But yin can never be yang, and yang can never be yin. So what I mean by that is, if you are a woman right now, incarnate this time around, and you could be a woman and with full feminine gender, yeah? And that would make you not so much like, I always put it to this way, you're not the mother, you'd be the smother, yeah? So if you're like, they like to say your gender is in line, if you're cis, if your gender is in line with your sexuality. So if your expression and feelies are in line with your material realm, then you're cis. That's bullshit. That is so much bullshit. Like, so much crap. So if a woman, a biological adult human female, was completely into the girly feminine bullshit, then they had a child, they'd probably be the smother, you know. And if you were a man and you were totally related to 100% masculinity energy, then you would be like the Spartan, you know. You would be ripping your child from the mother's arm at birth and slamming it down the rock, and if he's still there tomorrow, he's going to be the champion of all the champions. So what the gender in the seventh principle is in your inside. It's and that's where they get a lot of this shit from, I'm sure. Also from a lot of the Hermetics, but also a lot of the I think a lot of the mystical Jewish stuff. I think they get a lot from that as well. They seem to have just borrowed the bits that they like, and this is the bit that, for me, from what I understand, this is the bit that they've borrowed from the Hermetic order, and it's not like that. It's so that the mother, the woman that's given birth to the child, will also fight to the death for that child. You know, like she wouldn't scary, run and hide and abandon that child because she's got so much girliness about her. And it's not about being 100% of this masculine thing. So it's like, I want to kill and fight everything. You know, it's supposed to be on the inside and understanding that we house both energies. So that the mother steps forward a bit to protect the young, and the father learns to nurture and care, and we're not this either or. I mean, from what I understand, Gender is not an expression. Gender is not an identity. Gender is a balance of our humanity. It's so that we don't go on that pendulum so far to the right or so far to the left. That's my understanding of what the gender is. And that's why when Shapeshifter in the Benjamin Boyce interview spoke about this experience of seeing pure masculine and pure feminine, but said that they could not say it was male or female, that's what I understand that to be. It's the pure masculine and pure feminine on the spiritual astral field. Now, I myself love tarot, and I've gone through my tarot decks quite a number of times, and I have an obscene amount of tarot decks. Let's just say at the last count it was about 38 tarot decks. I don't even know if I should be proud of this or not. But that is my biggest cards. And these are my smallest cards. Tarot deck. And these are probably my favourite cards. My favourite tarot deck. And so I just pulled out 3 cards that I actually thought were quite interesting. And that is the 3rd card, which is the Empress. And the 4th card, which is the Emperor. The 3rd and the 4th card of the Major Arcana. Yeah. The reason why I really love this deck is I love the pictures of them. I love the symbols in this deck. Empress. Emperor. 3rd card. 4th card. Yeah? There's no card in between. There's no binary card. Just saying. So this is the 2 pillars. Yeah? Like Jachin and Boaz, 2 pillars. In ritual-based magic, you normally want to situate yourself in the middle of the 2 pillars. Yeah? So a balance of yourself, of what is both physical and the spiritual realm. So to remind, basically, like, it's reminding oneself too that we're not the smother and we're not the over analytical, rip it from the womb Spartan as well. We're a little bit of yin and we're a little bit of yang. Being the 3 and the 4 is in that order. They look in at each other. That's why I adore this deck. They look in at each other. They see each other. Shouldn't squint. They look at each other. They see each other. If I had to say there was one card, in my opinion, that represented non-binary, is the Fool. But I'll show you my big card because most people sort of know the Fool more like that guy. He normally has his like little white dog with him too. Tutu. which is, I adore the Wizard of Oz movies for that reason, because that is literally a occult piece of occultist masterpiece. But Dorothy is the fool, the uninitiated one on their journey. Why would I say a non-binary is the fool? And that sounds like I'm being really rude, doesn't it? Why would I say the non-binary is the fool? Because the fool's not manifested in this realm yet. So their sex has not been chosen. The story has not begun. But as soon as you land with your feet in this realm, there is a sex assigned to your manifested body and your manifested self. Nobody is a head wandering around the place without a body. Nobody is a soul, a disembodied soul here, manifest at this time. We don't give human rights to bodiless souls. We don't. We just don't. The Fool card is the only non-binary card or gender fluid card in my deck that I can find. No, not gender fluid. Non-binary card. It's the only non-binary card. Is the 0 card. The Fool is the card 0. It's not yet on the game. It's not yet on the field. When I seen the interview with Benjamin Boyce and has come across shapeshifters talking about their original blueprint, and especially the story, the dream about what was pure masculine energy and what was feminine energy, and the understanding shapeshifter had that it wasn't either male or it wasn't either female, it really straight away made me think of the 7 Hermetic orders, being the 7th one being what is gender, and the Empress and the Emperor from the Tarot, and that the Fool is the only card that I would be able to attach the vibration of non-binary to. Androgynous. I mean, most of the cards always shows a Fool as an androgynous type of features. Thanks for listening. Thanks for dropping by. Love you for now. I'll talk to you later. Stone out.